Hello everybody, this is Hexed Magica, and welcome to yet another Final Fantasy Wiki Let's Play. With me today is...
Cassius, unfortunately.
And the shadow of the previous LP. And also Hexed's mouse.
Yeah, so, I didn't realize that the way I set up recording for this had my mouse on my screen, so, mistakes were made. It's a time-honored tradition at this point, honestly.
Yeah.
Isn't it like one of the most obvious options in OBS when you're setting stuff like that up?
Yes. But...
So, I'm gonna make the case that in Tactics, I actually had to click on the screen frequently, so it made perfect sense. I don't know what the excuse is here.
My excuse here is, your boy is an idiot.
I agree.
So...
Anyway, since we got a brief amount of time before anything actually happens in this, what's happened with Final Fantasy 15 is that my computer is being a fucking ass, and basically I'm just gonna wait until I can get a replacement for it.
So in that case, I, being honestly just bored with a lot of free time, was like, hey, why don't we just let's play 10? And nobody stopped me, so here's what we're doing. This is a thing now.
Listen to my story. This may be our last chance.
Tita sounds even younger than I do.
Yeah.
It makes me feel slightly better about myself.
Yeah, Kat also got a new mic and now sounds like a baby.
Sounds like and is a baby. My sweet precious child.
I'm almost old enough to drink. I'm not a baby.
I mean, you're old enough to drink in any part of the world.
I'm old enough to drink in developed countries.
Yes.
Come down here and get drunk with us.
Yes. Drunk Hell Channel road trip. Except minus the drink driving, preferably. So here we are in a good old... technically this is the start of the game, but it's also sort of a flashback. Most of this game is a bloody flashback.
Yeah, like almost everything except the ending is a flashback.
Yeah. Fun note, that 5 seconds of me just sitting there
No prob.
was me trying to get my controller working. Because it's not a let's play until
Alrighty.
we all fuck up miserably.
Take it easy.
Honestly, I had figured you'd just forgotten that wasn't a cutscene, because that is something
10 doesn't work.
10 can be pretty bad about, because 10's the first voice acted game in the series, and it's the first one where there wasn't so characters walking around on either flat planes or pre-rendered backgrounds.
Okay.
So things kind of try to be as seamless as you can get away with in 2D and the PlayStation era, and it just kind of doesn't work sometimes.
Yeah, there's actually quite a few... There's actually quite a few scenes later on, like, I've recorded like 10 parts already.
Maybe tonight?
And like, there's quite a few times where I'm just sort of standing there for a little bit, waiting for something to happen, or...
Promise?
Before I realize it's not a cutscene anymore.
Like 10 is pretty fun and good, but it's also kind of stupidly obtuse at times.
Yeah, like 10 is probably up there for like favorite game for me. Like overall, like 10 might be like is probably one of my favorite games of all time. But also it's a mess in a lot of ways.
Like, look at Tidus's face.
Yes.
Something is wrong with his face.
The constant
Something is wrong with a lot of DHD
Our hero,
faces.
Jacked,
Yes.
gone, vanished into thin air.
the constant
My
pout.
dad must have been his biggest fan. I knew how sad he'd be.
Like
Heck,
this,
we all were that day.
like this.
Sonara says to myself,
This
"What
isn't
are you
like
thinking?"
Kingdom
I went
Hearts,
straight
where
back home.
they
We
were
sat
just
up
able
talking
to
about Jack
recreate
all night.
most of the game using assets
dad
from
and I never
3DS
talked so
game,
much.
touched up a bit.
Whoa,
This
didn't mean to reminisce,
was
folks. Anyway,
this
later that Jack-
yeah, is just kind of
It's a mess. I love
Make
it,
way,
but it's a
make
way.
mess. Like,
Coming through, sorry.
this game does look a lot better
Hey,
on
I'm
PC
gonna be
compared
late.
to the Vita, which is the last version I
Hey, let
played
go.
before starting this Let's Play. But simply, this game just looks a lot better at a bigger resolution most of the time.
there was no way it was ever going to look good on the Vita.
Like, the Vita port is excellent. Like, it's a really good port, but it's, yeah.
So this is the final boss music.
Yes! Also, probably, like, one of the best tracks from this game.
This is when Square Enix realized that they could write vocal songs that weren't in Latin. Or like terrible J-pop.
Well,
Basically, Uematsu realizing that he can just go do whatever the fuck he wants now.
yeah.
And now
And
like in
the-
Final
and
Fantasy
then-
14.
And then he left and became a freelancer because Square moved their head office and he didn't like it.
Is that really why?
Yes.
Jesus.
Square has always been like that. It's a very long history of bad decisions
Yeah.
that still somehow work.
Also, it's very interesting that in the, like, 15 plus years since 10 came out, how stuff like this was considered incredible back in 2002, and now it's just kind of bad looking.
But, and Square's always had like top of the line CG work. It's just not needed anymore.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing too, because it's fucking hella expensive. Like, if you tell Square's CG team to do something and you make a mistake in your instructions, company policy basically is that's your own fucking fault. You have to run with it, because otherwise you just wasted a shit ton of money.
Christ.
That's really fucking
Like
dumb.
that's what happened with the Heavensward trailer. They sent the wrong assets for one of the dragons and and when they realized, well, fuck it, can't do anything about it now.
Christ. I really like the Shadowbringers bloody CG though, it's pretty gorgeous. Also edgy as fuck, which is also pretty much a win.
Like, some people might think the one take thing is what happened with a lot of 13th writing, and in a way you're right, it's just that instead of trying to figure out how the story works in advance, they basically got all the CG first and then had to write around that even after they kept changing the script.
Don't cry.
Jesus. No wonder 13 is such a mess.
Yes, that's basically the main reason why like everything involving Sid reigns, because oh fuck, we just realized that he's actually alive in this CG we got near the end of the game.
Hey, wait!
Well, I felt like that arc felt like filler,
Not
but
this way.
that arc actually is filler. Fuck.
Amazing. Also, the weird-ass transitions between, like, engine cutscenes and CG is always
We called it sin.
so weird in this game.
And
It
that's-
never works.
And that one is another trait from the PSX era, because 7, 8, and 9 would do that. 8 in particular was pretty good about it in the original version. It looks really crap in ports, but in the PSX version, 8 did a lot of seamless transition. It looks crap in the ports because there are a lot of scenes in 8 where it's sort of half CG, where the character models are still there while the CG is running in the background,
Yes.
which becomes a lot more noticeable when the CG hasn't actually increased in quality.
A gift from Jet.
My old man?
Yes, who else is dumb enough to have a name like Jekt? The one Steve...
And who else is dumb enough to give Tidus a sword?
I've always hated Tidus's, like, sword-holding pose.
These ones don't matter.
But it's lore friendly. He doesn't know how to hold a sword.
Yes. I get that, but still...
Okay, Tidus is your pretty standard sword guy, but he is also the game's time mage, and
Cut the ones
have you ever seen a time mage hold a sword correctly? I don't think so.
Probably not, no. I mean... I don't think that's been possible in, like, any Final Fantasy game, barring, like, Equip X abilities.
Or just like the original release of 12 where everyone can just do fucking everything.
Which has made it the best release. I'm still salty about, like, them forcing a job system onto that game when it doesn't work.
And the changes they made to the system with Zodiac Age make it pretty...
This boss brings probably one of the things I think 10 does very well, and that's just the changing bloody camera angles in boss fights. I think it's
Oh yes, the battle camera is actually really good.
and here
Also good or wrong.
Also, this really shows, like, probably my inexperience with using a controller on my PC. Simply because I forgot, like, what each button on my PS4 controller mapped to in reference to, like, Orin's limit breaks.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, that...
I had everything mapped to basically the PS2 controller, but, like, my brain looked at it and was just, what the fuck is this?
This boss
Yeah,
is-
that's... that's a problem sometimes.
This boss is also a good demonstration of how to make a hard-looking boss while the player doesn't have anything to work with or doesn't really have any idea how to play the game. And that is just have them use gravity elemental spells.
Yeah. Like, you can't lose this fight. I think there's, like, the first fight you can lose isn't until, like, nearly the end of this episode.
Yeah, you can't lose until the very end of this tutorial section, which is pretty long. But like even against the enemies that aren't that don't just attack exclusively with gravity element, I'm pretty sure they're scripted to not kill you until you get to towards the very end of the next area.
Yeah, like, I think the first boss in the Sunken Ruin, not second boss technically, is the first one that can actually kill you. And even then, like, it's not likely to happen because you get a new party member halfway through that fight.
Let's get out of here.
And said party member has higher stats than what you should have at that point of the game. And said party member also has one of the most broken mechanics of the game, with drop tables with the various enemies set up to abuse the hell out of it.
Yep. Like, everything, like, I think Dreams Anakin is probably, like, a really nice, well-rounded tutorial on how just the entire combat system of this game works. Because it shows, like, shows the basics of the combat system, and also shows weird things that pop up, like, depending on the fight. Like, really evidenced here. The enemies, like, constantly respawn, and so eventually after a while you figure out that's not what you're supposed to do.
That. Knock it down.
What?
Trust me, you'll see.
Like, the only thing Dreams Anakin doesn't explain, I think, is overkilling, which is pretty crucial for the game.
Yeah, at this point you can only overkill if you land a crit anyway, so...
Yeah.
Also, Auron is one crazy asshole and it's great.
Auron is just, by and large, like, the best character in this game.
In a game with a lot of bad characters, some good characters, and one asshole with blue hair, Auron really stands out.
Yes. Like, Auron is the best character in this game. It's, like, just simply because, like, the way he does everything works so well in context of the story, and also he's badass as hell to boot.
And also the rest of the cast is weeby as fuck.
Yes. Like, this game is very lucky it has as good a soundtrack as it does. Because, like, I feel like for a lot of people, if not for the soundtrack, like, they'd be so turned off by, like, how dumb a lot of the characters in this game tend to be.
This is it.
Meanwhile, Auron's so cool you just kind of ignore the fact that you just saw him talk to a giant floating all-consuming anus.
Yes, basically.
It all begins here.
It is a well and true black hole. It's an anus that sucks everything up.
Hey. Hey!
And you can tell it really is some kind of asshole because Jack is here.
Yes. Like, Jekt is the biggest asshole in this game. But he's also, like, awesome as hell. Also, this area pops up later in the game.
Jekt is basically toxic masculinity. Don't do it, but it's badass as hell.
I thought
At
about
least
things.
Jekt gets better.
Like where I
Yeah.
was, what I got myself into. I started to feel lightheaded, and then sleepy. I think I had a dream of being alone. I wanted someone, anyone, beside me, so I didn't have to feel alone anymore.
That's kind of lewd, actually.
Yeah, the framing device for most of the story can be kind of weird sometimes because there's a bunch of things that you think Tidus either would gloss over or just wouldn't want to bring up at all, and it just he just spills everything.
Apparently a lot of the issues with
Anybody
Tidus's
there?
voice acting in this game comes down to, because Square was really inexperienced with voice acting, they gave James Arnold Taylor like sort of a misdirection. Like, they basically said like all of this is Tidus like recollecting after the like end of the story, where he's supposed to sound more mature and old, and then like throughout the rest of the game, like in the main story parts, he's just whiny. Like, it's a pretty whiny voice.
There are several dub problems here, and yeah, it's misdirected. The game engine is literally designed not to be dubbed. Like some games can be really hard to translate. Final Fantasy X's engine does not allow you to have voice clips that are of different length than what it was originally supposed to be there.
That's really fucking dumb. Like, who the hell programmed that?
Like, that combined with the fact that they tried to lip sync and didn't have the ability to change the lip flaps caused a lot of problems. And that's where all of the yas and you knows in the script come from, because they needed to fill in like the last second of every voice line, and
like okay, automated
this game
animation
is a mess.
Automated animation does and always will look like shit, but I would rather have that than just pointlessly adding syllables to sentences so that the
Christ.
Yeah, just tagging on syllables to the end of the line so that the game doesn't crash.
Wait, is that really what happened when they fuck? Again,
Yes, if the voice clip ended before the game thought it was supposed to end, the game would crash.
See, I thought this was just some bizarre way of like characterizing Waka as a racist stereotype, but no, it's actually necessary for the game's programming that Waka is a racist stereotype.
This game is even more broken than I thought. Also, this area, much like everything before, comes in like much later in the game, but you're not supposed to know what's going on, which is a sort of cool thing 10 does, but also like the first hour of this game has you just sitting there like, what the fuck is going on?
I kind of...
Speaking of which, here's a couple of random fish.
Yeah. Not just random fish. Random angry fish.
Also, just want to point out that Titus started that scene chasing them, and then he ended up in front of them.
I feel like the story would have made more sense, at least at or like the early parts. It would have made more sense if it was like Titus was an unreliable narrator and he was just bullshitting half of it. But no, he literally tells the story as it happens, and it makes less sense because of that.
Yeah.
And now...
a bigger fish!
Here's an endgame boss who's forgotten how to do most of his moves.
Literally all but one of his moves. I fucking...
And surprise, it's the one move that can't kill you.
Yeah.
I swear this game does get better later.
It gets a lot better. It's just... we have to deal with this. I do really like Giso Cigano's, like, design. It's just fucking weird as hell.
In general, I feel like Square Enix has good monster designers.
Yes.
Like, Gio Sagano is great. I mean, I don't think this game has anything as good as Hell House, but this game has pretty good monster design.
Yes. You can't swim up, you idiot. Like...
Now, if this was a modern game, this would be a QTE sequence.
Yes.
Where you have to mash the controller as quickly as possible, except if you do it on a keyboard, you have to hit multiple things or it doesn't go.
Yes. Or even if this game was X2, that would probably be something where you have to press a button in the cutscene. Otherwise the cutscene would change.
Okay, but if it was X2, it wouldn't be
I made
Titus,
out
it would be
of
some
fine
girl
crap
wearing a
and into
bikini.
the freezer.
Oh god.
I thought I was gonna die in this place.
You just know somewhere out there is probably like big bad like ball porn of like Giso Cigano.
Do I have to go find the extremely cursed 10-2 fan art now?
No.
Of Gio Sagano.
It's not Gio Sagano, it's cursed up based on a different topic that we were talking about.
Let's not.
So, I feel like you don't need to come up with Cursed 10-2 fan art, because remember, this is the same series that has a short story where Titus's head gets blown off and used as a blitz ball.
Fire.
Like Happy Festival of Fireworks, yeah. I honestly really hate this point of the game. Like, this one little thing you have to do. It's really, really dumb.
I feel like this is the sort of, like, low-level D&Ds, or, like, survival horror.
Also shown me not actually remembering where the tinder is, giving up thinking you have to get the, like, flowers first. I'm literally just mashing, like, the X button here, and nothing's working, so I just give up. Because, you know, that's just how it be. Like, this section in the game feels like it belongs in, like, a point-and-click game, not an RPG. But also,
Yeah, this section is just kind of awkward, almost fetch questy stuff.
yeah.
Wait, you know what it is? It's the fucking Kingdom Hearts opening. Square, those goddamn assholes did that for 2 of their major releases in a row. They just have an opening that looks like you're going to get into the game, and then you have to spend half an hour finding insane crap in the middle of nowhere.
Not just that. Didn't 10 and Kingdom Hearts come out in the same year? Because I very vividly remember getting 10 and Kingdom Hearts on the same day.
Yeah, they were really close to each other.
Kingdom Hearts was released. Kingdom Hearts was released on March 28th, 2002. I feel like that's after Final Fantasy X. Final Fantasy X was released July 11th, 2001.
Okay. Yeah, so within 12 months of each other.
They were within 6 months of each other.
Wait.
However, you'll notice that Square didn't learn any lessons from this game because in Kingdom Hearts, they have the same opener, they have the same bad voice acting, and
I need food.
Okay, good. I found the cursed fan heart.
No!
What am I looking
What
at?
do you want?
Oh, right, that's not that bad actually.
Oh god.
Your team lost.
I was hoping
It's
for
not
like
bad,
some
but
Joseph
it's still
Gano.
cursed.
Say that.
Honestly, on some level, that's kind of blessed.
I thought you'd be crying.
Who? Me?
Oh god.
You cried.
I just love...
Because I somehow doubt Hexed's going to edit it in. I posted that one, the picture of Breska's pilgrimage dressed as YRP.
I will actually put a link to it in the description, so don't worry.
And that's not the original version, because I had to find the one in the Dark Kids LP, which, yeah,
Just hold on. I'll get more wood.
because they had done a bunch of, they're parodying that stupid Final Fantasy 15 car meme for a while.
Give me a break.
So here's the thing that can actually kill you if you're not paying attention.
It's not likely to ever kill you, but it can, and that's all that matters.
And this fight is also really boring until this part happens.
Yes.
What, the camera zooms in on Tidus's face?
Also, it doesn't make a lot of sense that they blow up that bloody door. Because isn't, it has been a while, but isn't that the door that, when you actually go back to this place later, the one that leads to the plot important thing here?
Look, they just needed to show the power of the PS2's emotion engine.
Fair.
And here the fight becomes interesting because we've got a new party member whose main purpose for this tutorial is to throw grenades at enemies and then steal more grenades off them.
Yes. Fun fact, the boss's HP actually resets between the cutscene and, now, because it's counted as a separate battle.
Also, a fun thing about steal, unlike every other Final Fantasy game, you can steal as many times as you want. The success rate goes down each time, but first steal is always 100%, and then it goes down by half each successful steal attempt.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can just spend 10 minutes stealing grenades off this guy if you really want to.
If you really hate yourself, basically.
But of course, everything in this tutorial section has grenades as their skill, so you're going to get a lot of grenades in the first few hours if you actually try.
It's kind of a shame though that they become basically useless after the tutorial though.
Hey, let me go.
Like, once you are meant to have access to use again, it becomes useless.
Yeah, just mix them together to create more things that explode. Seriously, she is the most broken character in the game. She has the broken starter ability, she has the most broken over limit. No, not over limit, fuck it.
She has quartet of 9s. Or she has trio of 999, sorry.
Yes.
I managed to mix limit and overkill and then get a mechanic from a completely different series. Go me.
Yeah.
Over? Never mind.
The thing is, like, every time I've played this game, I've never actually used Riku to the point where she's actually fucking broken.
Hey, that hurts.
This might actually change by the time I finish doing this Let's Play.
Like 10 is a game that's customizable enough to let everyone become broken, but some characters get it better than others because of their unique limits and unique ultimate weapons.
Yes.
I said I don't understand.
Fed! He said you can stay if you make yourself useful.
You understand me? All right, I'll work.
Also, Tidus is a shit.
Yeah. Like, Tidus is probably, like, one of the less broken party members. Like...
Also, there's the Albed Dictionary mechanic, which is kind of really fucking dumb because it just makes everything they say incomprehensible.
Yes, like, it's a cool mechanic, but it's not done well.
Like, great, we know that their Y is an English A, but that doesn't really help, and translating the parts of the language you know on the fly just makes everything worse.
Yeah. Also, one thing 10 does really, really terribly is force you through this fucking tutorial. And, you'll see something really dumb I do in just a moment. And it's going to be bad, and I want you all to suffer like I have suffered.
You didn't play it a second time, did you?
Yep.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Anyway, here's the sphere grid. It's fun, but early on in the game it does get kind of annoying because I find that you pretty much never get enough ability spheres to properly fill things in early on, and just have to sit at one space for a while because wasting sphere levels to go backwards is really annoying and stupid.
Yeah, it's... You actually see me have that issue later on. It's...
Like, yeah, the system is actually
Here it
kind of really
comes!
bad early game until... Oh, fuck you. Yeah, the system actually does have some serious problems until you start learning the distill attacks, which force enemies to drop whichever kind of spear you want them to. And it's kind of astounding that that's not something that was in the original version of the game. They had to add that in International.
Wait, really? Like,
Wait. Okay, I know
Yes.
the original version of this game is a piece of shit, but like, come on.
I have very thankfully never played the original version of this game because I
Well,
live.
no, you wouldn't. Yeah, you don't live in America.
Yeah, so
I have played the original version of this game, and it fucking sucks.
yeah,
Like, International also does some things that really fucking suck, and we'll get to that later, especially if Hexed managed to forget to do some really important things. But yeah, for the most part, International is an improvement.
We found some ancient
Yes,
ruins
I
right
think-
beneath us.
I think
It's
there are
not active
two.
now,
Well,
but there should still
it's
be
mostly
some power left.
one very
We're gonna go down
egregious
there and
thing that
activate it.
International
And then we
does
should be able to.
that I really dislike.
Okay.
Because
let's get to work.
two
Roger.
things it does. Because working around those two things requires a lot of backtracking when you really shouldn't, before backtracking becomes easy, basically.
You basically, unless you want to deal with that bullshit, you basically have to remember, there are a couple of times where, you have to go back to the first town, otherwise you are going to hate yourself later.
Yep. And not just that, like, right before said thing becomes unlockable, like right after being available to... Right after... essentially, as soon as it becomes unlocked, right after, locks you into a point of no return and forces the event that causes the thing to become basically locked to fire. Because the way they put the Dark Aeons in this game is really fucking dumb. Well, more specifically when they fire.
The random battle transition still rules.
I like it a lot.
That's not bad.
Like, it's ultimate end, just every random encounter.
Also, for at least one episode, you gotta remember to turn on the remastered soundtrack, because there's stuff like the battle theme is kind of funny, really.
Yeah, I might try it sometime. I just really don't like the remastered soundtrack as a whole, so...
How do we make sound more high definition? Let's throw like 50 electric guitars in.
Like, I got in an argument with some idiot, like, the other day, because, like, he dared say that there were, like, tracks on the remaster that are actually better than the original, and it's just... Can you not?
Like there are some songs that are pretty good, but when it gets bad, like Seymour's theme, it's just bad.
Yeah.
Wait, I wanna like mute this video and listen to remastered Seymour's theme.
Oh god.
I wanna see how working is this thing. HD remaster if I would Seymour. This fucking sucks. I made it like 10 seconds in. This fucking sucks. Okay, not listening to that.
Well, like, it's a shame as well, because Battle with Seymour is, like, one of the better themes in this game. Like, the tail end of this game has so many good themes in it.
I think most of the boss themes in this game are really good, other than like the generic boss theme that we just heard right now is kind of mediocre, but...
Enemy attack is okay, it's sort of just really there more than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one where I think the remaster probably does better.
Also, Cheer is just secretly really good in this game. And I didn't know this
those party buffs are really good. Cheer's probably the best one, but like they're free, they're fast, and they stack.
Yeah, like, Cheer stacks, well, all of them stack to 5 times. I only bother with maybe 3 times here, but... Also, this fight is technically the Ultros fight of this game, so... It also introduces, like, environmental, basically, commands. The game calls them, like, trigger commands.
Stuff that... a bunch of gimmicks that don't really go anywhere. You can use grenades there?
Yeah.
What the fuck is the point of the standby command then? That's the worst fucking thing ever. Oh, let's just gain...
It's like 50 health. I don't think I actually even bother using it.
Yeah, I thought it was 50.
Like, I feel like if trigger commands were used more in this game, they'd be a really cool mechanic. It's just that they're used in probably like
they're
5
just
fights.
boss gimmicks.
Yeah.
They're just boss gimmicks.
The only ones that come to mind me trigger mechanic is like this the airship command. Which is actually kind of cool, except that those bosses are all really easy.
Evray isn't easy, but...
Okay,
yeah.
well not Evray, but like all the sin fights that you do on the airship are like pretty brain dead, and it's like, do you really need to know how to control the airship in order to fight him? Not really.
It's a cool fight, but it's not...
Yeah.
hard.
I forgot this guy even had trigger mechanics, because he just sort of swims around and doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
And you just throw a grenade at him and blow his face off.
Sometimes you've just got to throw a grenade at, like, Ultros's face. The smug bastard deserves it. And truly, killing something is the best way of silencing it.
Hey, but Final Fantasy X, just from its battle mechanics, is still probably the weirdest setting in this in the series, because how many other games are you just encouraged to throw a bunch of grenades at fish?
This is important.
Like, even in Final Fantasy 15, where all your spells are fucking magical grenades, you're not encouraged to use them on the fish because they barely work on water.
This stuff is important, but, like, doesn't become important until, like, halfway through the game. And you don't even know what it is at this point. It's just a big-ass rock. Like, this game foreshadows a lot, but yeah.
It tries.
Like, oh yay, you're panning over a bunch of rocks.
And the camera blurs a little.
Yeah.
Futra airship. Tradalukt van een neger. Hoof, Rufdu, Tungadib. Where? Wicheta!
So you can see that Albed, the guy that worked edited some of the letters, have now turned pink because those have been translated into English.
Yeah.
As you can tell, having a bunch of Y's be turned into A's has already proven to be very useful.
It's the most useful. The best of uses.
That's one thing that tend to improve slightly because there's a lot less of the guides there, so each one does multiple letters, which of course was the case in the Japanese version of 10 as well, because there are a lot more than 26 letters in the two Japanese alphabets that are important
Not
to
just
that.
Not just that. 10-2 tends to give you like 5 or 6 primers at any given time. So like, I think you can get something like 20 of the letters for like Albed just simply in chapter 1 of 10-2.
Hey!
Yeah.
Hello there. What is your name?
Like 10.2 does some really dumb shit, but it does have much improved quality of life over this game.
Yeah. It also has like it's probably got one of the best iterations of the job system in the series as well.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we means you.
Like 10-2's job system is just like really, really
Are
good.
you guys anyway?
But like, I don't like each character's ultimate, but
Wait,
it's a good system
Yeah.
I don't even know
in
what
general.
a bed is.
where are you from?
Xanarkand. I'm a blitzball player.
I feel like if this was like a modern game, this shot would definitely be tried to be played for fan service, but also the graphics just aren't good enough for it to be even fan servicey.
Oh, right. Do you remember anything before that?
We'll get actual fan service later.
Yeah.
The real reason that this whole game takes place on like an ocean and then
So I
like
told her
Spirit is just like
everything
this
there
one
was to
tiny
tell
little
about
island, is because
About
of fan
life there,
service.
Blitzball, and Sin's attack. And about how Aaron and I were engulfed in this light.
I mean, I
just said
can't
things as they
wait
came to
until
mind.
we get to
But
the
then I started
point
to wonder.
where Nomura actually started deliberately trolling the rest of the developers.
Wait, did
Wait,
he?
what?
What?
say something funny?
You know exactly which outfit I'm talking about, and yes, it was deliberate to try.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It was a deliberate attempt to piss off the CG artists.
Maybe you just had some kind of dream?
I had completely forgotten about that until this one moment, and now I'm
You
not
mean I'm
surprised.
sick?
Because of Sin's toxin, yeah.
You sure?
Yeah, there is no Xanarkand anymore. Sin
Actually-
destroyed it 1,000 years ago.
I actually really like
So no one plays blitzball there.
the sort of science behind Sin's toxin in this game, but it's not ever really like stated outright.
What do you mean, 1,000 years ago?
Like,
But
it's
I saw
basically
Sin
the
attack
whole
Xanarkand.
like Sin is made
You're
of
saying that happened
fireflies
1,000
thing,
years ago?
and
No
fireflies
way.
are just people's memories, really. So basically, like, going near Sin makes your head full of fuck. And I think with that, we're actually done